This is a production of WTVI PBS Charlotte.
When you walk inside Pepsi Bottling Ventures on South Boulevard, you'll see lots of products stacked on pallets and forklifts loading trucks. Kathy Cockrell was hired in the late 80s. Hundreds of people worked here. She says it felt like a big family.
I was a single parent. I raised my kids here, and I would have never been able to have done that by myself without this company.
One reason why it felt like family, says warehouse manager Elton Dozier, is because Dale F. Halton was president and CEO.
One of the things I learned from Dale Halton is pretty much your people that works with you, they come first. Dale Halton was the finishing piece to the puzzle. She completed the whole puzzle.
A puzzle covers part of Dale Halton's dining room table. She carefully studies each piece and occasionally looks at the big picture when she's stumped. Her attention to detail is one of the traits that allowed her to save her family's business and turn it into one of the most successful soft drink bottling operations in the country. Halton's grandparents, Henry and Sadie Fowler, started the first Pepsi franchise in Charlotte in 1905.
And he thought, there's money to be made in this brown water.
During the early years, horse-drawn wagons delivered Pepsi across Charlotte. Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Charlotte, as it was then called, flourished for most of the 20th century. This picture shows Halton dancing with her grandfather. She never imagined she'd one day manage and own the company he started.
My grandfather, at age 90, finally realized he needed some help.
The company wasn't profitable, and eventually Halton was put in charge.
I never had thought I would be in business. It was not something roaming around the back of my head at all, and I didn't want to lose it.
Few women ran a name brand business in Charlotte at the time.
And when I took over in 82 or 81, whatever it was, there was Joan Zimmerman with Southern Shows, Bonnie Widenhouse in real estate, and that was really about it.
With bankruptcy looming, some doubted Halton could turn things around.
Pepsi came down and threatened to take it away because I was female. And we were meeting with my attorney, and I just looked at him and said, with a nice smile, and said, "Come on down, we'll do it in my courts here." Never heard any more from them.
Halton and Darrell Holland led the company.
We ran it together. He knew so much more than I did. And he sent me out into the world. He said, "This is the perfect time for you to get involved in the business community." I said, "Really? I don't know how to do that." And he said, "Go."
Halton carefully studied every aspect of running the business.
I would walk through the plant and talk to everybody.
As the company regained solid financial footing, Halton started a profit-sharing plan and eventually added more benefits to reward employees. That tradition of treating people right grew into lifelong relationships.
He's done a great job.
Pike's Restaurant in South End is where you'll find a number of retired and current Pepsi employees. They meet once a month to have lunch.
It's fun, and we all catch up and pass on any news we have of anybody else.
Darrell Holland sits across from Halton and remembers fondly his years with Pepsi.
Everybody, I think, was proud of what we accomplished, period. You know, we both from a standpoint of the company's growth and profit and from what the company did for the community.
Halton ran the company for another 20 years before deciding to sell it. Perhaps her legacy is that she not only saved her family business from going under, but she also set up a charitable foundation to meet needs in the community.
I'd rather help others better themselves, get a degree, whatever.
One of the top beneficiaries of the Dale F. Halton Foundation is UNC Charlotte. She felt the basketball team needed a home, so she gave the university $1.3 million, and Halton Arena opened in 1996. Her portrait greets students as they enter the reading room at Atkins Library. Here you'll find photos, vintage magazine advertisements, and dozens of glass bottles with Pepsi logos that have changed over the years. But the one thing that hasn't changed is Halton's support of education and the arts. She's a strong supporter of Central Piedmont Community College. She's also one of the Charlotte Ballet's most devoted supporters, and she gives to the John Crossland School, which helps children with learning disabilities.
They need so much. They've given me more than I've given them.
Halton doesn't keep a lot of Pepsi memorabilia in her home, but enjoys talking about the one she has.
So when you look at this piece in particular, is there something that it evokes or makes you think of back to your time of leading Pepsi?
I just love the bench having Pepsi on it, that's why. And I just think it's such a tremendous piece of art to get all the details, the dirt, the little kitty cat under there.
And helping others who are motivated to better themselves, Halton says, gives her a great sense of purpose.
I think part of my philosophy is the more you have, the more responsibility you have to help others. And that's where my giving really comes from.
From Halton's balcony, she has a great view of the Charlotte skyline. Here she reflects about the changes that have occurred since her grandparents started their soft drink business.
I think about my parents and grandparents and what they might think if they came back today and see it. And I am amazed that Charlotte has grown like this.
And as for the years she led Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Charlotte.
It was enjoyable and it was interesting and I learned so much. It was good. I cannot complain about those 25 years.
For Carolina Impact, I'm Jeff Rivenbark reporting.